Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I hope this is a wonderful day for you. This is a beautiful day. This is Tuesday. It is, I believe it's the 9th of May in the year 2023. It is such a wonderful day. I'm so thankful to God because He has blessed all of us to live to see another day. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. Amen. This is Point of View, and I'm Shirley. Cleester's working, Merethah's working, and Eula's working today. God willing, they'll be back with us sooner than later. Okay, a question came to my mind. Can our emotions affect our health? Can our emotions affect our health? Can they have an effect on our health? Can they affect our health? And so I found some good articles today. I went to a site that I had not been to before that has some great information. Great information. So I have three sites that I will probably get to today, but I just want to say hi, 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 hi. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I just love you so much. I love you so much. And I thank God that I'm hearing from you and you're telling me that this information is helpful and you appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I'm setting up now where I can have an audience, online audience. So I will let you know, even though we have an online audience, and you're speaking through us through text and messages, then if you would like to be in the audience, then I'm trying and working on setting that up so that you can be online visibly too in the audience. Okay, so I'm working on that, and let's get right into what I'm going to talk about today. And it is just a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. Okay, how you're I'm going to start with this one. This is a site that I had not been to before. And the acronym, I still can't find exactly what the acronym means, but it's rtor.org. rtor.org. And it's Laurel House Incorporation. They sponsor the rtor.org. And they're saying up here they will be accepting applications for its social work racial equity scholarship for 2023-2024 school year on the, well, that's past now, the March 15th, 2023. So that's past now, okay? So now, how your emotions influence your health and well-being. How your emotions influence your health and your well-being. And this was posted like the May 26th in 2021. And the guest author is for the rtor.org. Okay. And I want to make sure that I give everybody credit up here. And it's concerning our wellness. You know, we're so concerned. I am about us doing the right things for us as a whole, mentally, physically, emotionally, however many parts there are to talk about. This is for us. In today's fast paced world, many of us are exposed to stress. That's why full emotional intelligence is essential if we want to be emotionally healthy. Emotions, experiences, and general well being have a huge impact on a person's health. I must say that again. Emotions, experiences, and general well being have a huge impact on a person's health. Good health is important because it allows us to live a full life. Now, what is emotional intelligence? Emotionally healthy people are able to assess their feelings and emotions and know how to control them properly. Researchers have found that people with full emotional intelligence can cope better with the stresses and challenges of daily life. And have you experienced that? Are you there yet where you can cope with everything? I told you about when I prayed to God and asked Him to take all this that was causing me to think about things that were in the past, and all those things that were stressful, and they were weighing on me, and about things that had happened in the past and different things. And instantly God took that away from me. And it is a feeling, it is a feeling, it is a feeling that I would love everybody to experience. I don't have that weight of thinking about things in the past, not worrying about what's going to come up in the future, that full assurance and relaxation that I have in my mind and my body, in my spirit. I thank God for that. Events that weaken your emotional state. In our lives, we are often faced with unexpected, and that's for real, unexpected adverse events that negatively affect our emotional health and lead to severe distress, discouragement, stress, and anxiety. So these events can be losing a job, the death of a loved one or someone close to you or us, okay, breaking up or ending a relationship, accident, incurable diseases, relocation, etc. Those are some things, okay? So, how and why do emotions affect our health? Our thoughts, emotions, and feelings trigger reactions in our bodies. So, have you ever felt anxious? Have you ever felt anxious? And I believe all of us have felt anxiousness. And what is being anxious? Why do you feel anxious and panicky? Panicky anxiety is a feeling of unease, worry, or fear. Everyone feels anxious at some point in their life, but for some people, it can be an ongoing problem. A little bit of anxiety can be helpful. For example, feeling anxious before an exam might make you more alert and improve your performance, but too much anxiety can make you tired and unable to concentrate. So true. So that's talking about that anxious. Have you ever felt anxious? So it's a physical sensation of your body trying to tell you that something is wrong. That's why you need to know how to deal with your emotions if you want to live a healthy, active life. Some of the physical symptoms mentioned below indicate that our mental health is not good. And so we're going to pay strict attention to this. Back pain, lack of appetite and indigestion, chest pain, constipation or diarrhea, dry mouth, fatigue and drowsiness, headaches, high blood pressure and shortness of breath, anxious sleep, sexual problems, etc. Your immune system can be weakened by poor emotional health, making you more vulnerable to colds and infections. Excessive use of alcohol, smoking, and drugs also indicate that your emotional health is not in the best condition. These are things, and we're in rtor.org, okay? So, how can you improve your emotional health? First, you need to know how to recognize and understand your emotions. There's so many of us in this world do not know ourselves. We do not know ourselves as well as we should. That's emotionally and physically either. We do not know ourselves as well as we should. Many people. So, how can you improve your emotional health? First, you need to know how to recognize and understand your emotions. If you understand why you're stressed and why you suffer from anxiety or feel sad, you can identify and address the causes and improve your emotional health. Mental health can be improved by the following methods. Focus on the positive things in life. We talk about that almost every time we come on. Do relaxation exercises such as meditation, yoga, etc. Learn how to manage your emotions. Be more self confident and develop self esteem. Do physical exercise. Follow a healthy and balanced diet. Give up alcohol, cigarettes, and coffee, etc. Okie dokie. I ain't talking negative, but I like my coffee. Okay. Now, and so you can find different researches, different opinions on whether you should drink coffee, whether you should not drink coffee. Okay. But maybe some people need to give it up. Okay. Maybe so. Maybe that will help. So it won't hurt to try. Okay. You can achieve a healthy emotional state and learn how to manage your emotions. Emotionally healthy people, as a rule, are satisfied with their lives, smile, and are full of positive energy, are able to manage stressful situations, easily and quickly adapt and adjust to the constant changes in life, and they are self confident. Okay? Self confident. Now, we're going down a little bit more. Now, about the author of this, Helen Wilson is a professional content writer at Write to My Paper, okay? Her main spheres of specialization are health, productivity, and self development. She studies topics about psychology and meditation and also provides help on cause and effect essay topics. Okay, so that's rtor.org, and it's talking about how your emotions influence your health and well-being. Then we'll go to our next one. Okay, how do your emotions affect? And now we're in news, medical life, and I think I'm going to save this one for last. I believe I am. Yeah, this is the doctor. Yeah. So I will save her for last. And I hope you're doing well. As I said earlier, I hope everything is well with you. I want your day to be great. Mine is great. I am so thankful for it. Okay, Psychology Today. This is one of my favorite sites too. Psychology Today. Psychology Today. This is by Jeffrey Burke, Birk, PhD. Do feelings influence physical health? Studying how emotions affect us reveals new ways to promote physical health. Okay? Revealing new ways to promote physical health. All right. Let me get back to him. It's to Psychology Today and Dr. Jeffrey Burke. The key points here: in both small and large ways, emotions continually shape a person's physical well being. The next one: people who tend to experience more frequent positive emotions live longer than those who experience less. Third one: by recognizing the influences among moods, emotions, and physical health, people may adopt better patterns of thinking and behavior. I think I need to take a drink. I didn't do that one. Excuse me. I need to take a drink. Do you value the emotional experiences of your life? That may seem like a silly question with an obvious answer, but take a moment to consider it, because sometimes we're asked some things and we just blurt it out without thinking. And then, even though we think we know everything about putting in the answer, sometimes we should take some time to think. And what they're saying is here, that makes it. Do you value the emotional experiences of your life? That may seem like a silly question with an obvious answer, but take a moment to consider it. A large part of life's worth comes from the cascade of fleeting, often subtle emotions that can be enjoyed daily, some predictably and others less so, because we don't know what's going to happen within a day, do we? I'm telling you, we don't know what's going to happen within the next millisecond, microsecond. Think of the spark of joy you might feel upon seeing the coy smile of a loved one who has just made an unexpectedly hilarious joke at your expense. Imagine the pleasant surprise that might wash over you during an overcast week in November if the long absent sun were to break through the clouds and suddenly warm your face. Just think about it. Now, even the so called negative emotions can have their own charms, or at least they can make life more interesting. Oh, yeah. So imagine the sweet sadness you might feel when noticing that your aged, beloved, and once sprightly dog is slowly trying and failing to jump up onto the couch. And yes, I've experienced that more than once with my dogs. Yep, yep. Think about how angry you might feel if a recklessly rude driver were to deliberately steal your parking spot just as you were steering into it. For better or worse, emotions make up the experiential fabric of our lives. Okay? All right. So, do you also value your physical health? You may be thinking, yes, who doesn't? Indeed, we are generally highly motivated to avoid illness, maintain our physical mobility, and promote the health of all the important functions of our bodies that keep us alive, pain free, and independently functional for as long as possible. We are hardwired to care about our physical well being. Thank God for being hardwired to think about it and care for ourselves, because I tell you, we have to take care of ourselves. We must take care of ourselves. Okay. If so, have you ever tried to change your feelings to improve your mental health and physical health? Despite strongly valuing our psychological and physical well being, many of us do not recognize just how closely interrelated these important facets of life truly are. Emotions may seem too ephemeral, too abstract, or too localized just in our heads to have any real effect on serious health outcomes as concrete and consequential as whether we develop hypertension, whether we experience atrial fibrillation, or whether we recover poorly after a heart attack. Nevertheless, in both small and large ways, our emotions continually shape our physical well being. Our emotions manifest somatically, that's in our bodies, okay, just as much as cognitively in our minds. All right. Now, these emotions, do they affect our bodies, our health? And the answer is yes. Emotions' effects on health run the gamut, ranging from beneficial to harmful and from transient to long lasting. In the short term, for instance, if we endure a period of high perceived stress, then we may be more likely to contract a common cold. You hear that? If we endure a period of high perceived stress, then we may be more likely to contract a common cold. So, in the longer term, people who tend to experience more frequent positive emotions live longer than those who experience less. And that's 2011 research, and then the other one was 1991 research. Okay, so similarly, highly optimistic people have at least 50% greater odds of living to the age of 85 compared to people with low optimism. And that's a study that was done, an opinion in 2019. I am influenced, I am an effective scientist at Columbia University Irving Medical Center. I study the emotions and health outcomes of cardiac patients who have recently experienced frightening, life threatening medical events. There are many points of intersection to explore due to the wide variety of emotion related factors. For example, positive affect, purpose in life, depression, anxiety, and the of complexities of how those factors may affect our bodies over time. Talking about stress, talking about our emotions. Do they have an effect on our health? Yes, they do. Here's a blunt truth. Are you ready for it? Excuse me. Many of us will contend with one or more chronic diseases at some point in our lives. Some of you reading this now have been managing such diseases for years. As you may know well from personal experience or that of a loved one, the onset of chronic disease is associated with an increased risk of subsequently experiencing clinical depression. Oh, my Lord. Similarly, after an acute medical event, such as a sudden heart attack or stroke, people have an increased risk of developing potentially debilitating levels of psychological distress, which in turn may increase the risk of secondary cardiovascular events. And this is from Edmondson and Van Cano in 2017. Okay? Now, an important topic to be covered is whether these kinds of mental health symptoms or after medical events may be significantly reduced or even prevented, and if so, how. There is good news. There is good news. There is good news. Oh yes, amid all of this talk of impending disease, disability, and mortality. And so he asked the question, are you still with me? Okay. By fully recognizing the influences among our moods, our emotions, and physical health, we may be able to identify modifiable psychological factors that could be instrumental in allowing us to steer toward better patterns of thinking and behaving that may substantially improve our lives. For example, research shows that optimism and positive affect are associated with better health, and that's by China and Steptoe in 2008, and are modifiable. That's Hekerens and Id in 2021. The goal of increasing positive psychological factors and reducing negative ones may not be as impossible as at first it may seem. Doing so could foster both our mental and physical well being over the course of a long life. And that is from Psychology Today. So there is hope. We just have to work on being more optimistic, being more, well, I would say concerned, but concerned in a good way about ourselves, our lives, our health, everything about us. And when trials come, and we have to try our best to look past the trials to the coming out of them, okay? And there's a quote that says, our trials come only to make us strong. And that may sound easy for somebody that might not be going through those trials to say that, but just take it in and hold on to it, because I do. I do, because like I say, we don't know from one microsecond to the next what is going to take place in our lives. All we have is right now. That's all we have. So, in the right now, let's do the thing that we need to do, okay? In the right now. Think about yourself, think about your emotions, and try to study yourself even more and find out what makes you agitated the most, what irks you, what upsets you the most, and when you can tell what triggers this, and you can study yourself, study yourself, okay? And then also get some help if you need emotional help. I know you need spiritual help. We need that every day. Get that help. Now, here's Dr. Liji Thomas, and it's Liji. And Dr. Thomas, please forgive me if I misspell your name, okay? If I mispronounce your name, but it's Liji, okay? Thomas. And this is in Medical Net, news dash medical net dot news medical net medical.net. There it is. Newsmedical.net. Now, how do your emotions affect your physical health? Hi, thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How do your emotions affect your physical health? And she has some points here. She has negative emotions and physical ill health. We'll talk about that. Positive emotions and health, emotions and eating, the amygdala bridge, understanding the link, emotional regulation, okay? People have long suspected or known that the health of the body, something keeps coming up here, so I'm having to deal with this. People have known that dealing with the health of the body, okay, I had to deal with this, is intimately connected to that of the mind. Okay? People have long suspected or known that the health of the body is intimately connected to that of the mind. Okay, what's the question? Do our emotions affect our body, our health? Okay, so sayings like died of a broken heart or pined away from grief are expressive of this relationship to its extreme form. Modern research validates this ancient intuitive knowledge, showing that healthy emotions must be experienced and expressed in a correspondingly healthy manner to enhance mental and physical well being. Unhealthy emotions or healthy emotions that are not allowed any expression may leach away the energy of living and increase the propensity to unhealthy coping mechanisms, chronic disease, or autoimmune manifestations. And I want to read that again. Unhealthy emotions or healthy emotions that are not allowed any expression may leach away the energy of living and increase the propensity to unhealthy coping mechanisms, chronic disease, or autoimmune manifestations. We have to be so careful. That's why we have to find out what triggers this emotion, why do I feel like this, and what happens when I start feeling this way. All of that. Study ourselves, okay? Emotions have long been classified as positive or negative, but a better way to think of them might be to evaluate how they affect one's general outlook on life under a given set of circumstances. For instance, in some situations, anger or fear is a positive response, while in others, they are uncalled for and therefore negative. And as psychologist Dr. Barbara L. Fredrickson of the University of North Carolina says, all emotions, whether positive or negative, are adaptive to the right circumstances. Next, negative emotions and physical ill health. Negative emotions and physical ill health. Problems with health may arise when negative emotions are due to undue dwelling in the past or constant anxiety rather than a response to the current scenario. Neuroticism, defined as the tendency to experience negative emotions and display aggressive, hostile, or angry behavioral patterns, is well known to be a risk factor for a range of physical health outcomes like cardiovascular disease, asthma, and hypertension. A depressive mood has been shown to be linked to major changes in cellular immunity in a dose dependent manner. You hear that? A depressive mood has been shown to be linked to major changes in cellular immunity in a dose dependent manner. This includes lower lymphocyte response to antigens that would otherwise induce their proliferation, reduced natural killer NK cell activity, and fewer white cells in the blood. So it does, our emotions do play a vast important role in our health, okay? Immune dysregulation as a result of psychological factors such as unhealthy emotions could be the underlying mechanism for aging, cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, some cancers, and even frailty via the production of inflammatory chemicals in the body in response to a negative effect. My goodness, goodness gracious alive. I really want to do that again, okay? Immune dysregulation as a result of psychological factors such as unhealthy emotions could be the underlying mechanism for aging, cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, some cancers, and even frailty via the production of inflammatory chemicals in the body in response to a negative effect. Inflammatory chemicals developing in the body. My goodness. Again, both acute and chronic stress, hostility, and depression are suggested to be independent risk factors for cardiovascular disease. So we need to, what is that? I was talking about that. I think Lance said Ice Cube said this: check yourself before you wreck yourself. I think that would be good put in here right now. We need to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves because our emotions have a lot to do with our physical well-being. Okay, positive emotions and health. Conversely, a positive outlook on life has been associated with lower blood pressure, reduced cardiovascular risk, better weight control, healthy blood sugar levels, and increased longevity. Neuronal health and neural functioning, cardiovascular health immune function, and endocrine physiology are all involved in stress response. In stress responses, okay? The relationship between these has not yet been determined, especially as it could be bidirectional. Now we're going to talk about emotions and eating. Some researchers propose that emotions induce eating by controlling the choice of foods or inhibiting food intake. Emotions switch off higher brain control of eating. Some individuals eat to reduce their emotional intensity. Comfort eating is often a mechanism to reduce negative emotions and control their intensity. Eating too little or overeating are alike harmful to physical health. So you can undereat or you can overeat, and they are both just alike. They are harmful to your physical health, okay? Yet the changes in eating could be the result of emotions hindering eating, a byproduct of certain emotions, or the result of emotional regulations. Hi, thank you so much for being with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we're going to talk about the amygdala. Amygdala, okay? It's in your head, and it's right over in here somewhere, according to the chart, okay? Inside the head, in the brain. So, some scientists have used brain imaging to map the stimuli that trigger reward pathways in the basal ganglia and the ventral striatum deep in the brain. Now, some results show that positive emotions activate the latter for a longer duration, during which time the individual experiences feelings of well being. If this is the basal state of this part of the brain, healthful changes occur in the body. Okay? So, what it's saying is some scientists have used brain imaging to map the stimuli that trigger reward pathways in the basal ganglia and the ventral striatum, and just deep in the brain, okay? And some results show that positive emotions activate the latter, okay, for a longer duration, during which time the individual experiences feelings of well being. So, if this is the basal state of this part of the brain, healthful changes occur in the body. Wow. So, with negative emotional states, amygdala activation occurs. Interestingly, this part of the brain is involved in processing emotions and regulating stress responses mediated by the important hypothalamo pituitary adrenal axis. Okay, that's the HPA. Now let me say it again. The hypothalamo pituitary adrenal axis, okay? And it is therefore key to the experience of feeling fear and anxiety. And it's right here with me. I ought to share this screen. Wow, I need to share that. Let me see if I can get here and share that. If you just give me a few seconds, okay? I want to share that and show you just what I'm looking at. Let me see here. Let me see. Make sure I want to. Let me get back here and see where that is. Okay, that is how do your. Okay, here it comes. I'm going to try to get it up there. Okay, there it is. That's not going to let me do it. I'm doing window. Let me do the edge. Okay, here it comes. Here we go. There it is. Right there. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. I got it right. Okay. Now, There it is, right there. See, I told you. It's right in here, right there. Okay, now let me get on back. Let me get on back. Okay, so I want to stop sharing that until something else comes up. Okay, now, so let me get back up here because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Okay, I'm in the right spot. So, with slow amygdala recovery from activation, individuals may be at higher risk for disease than faster recovery. Wow. Similarly, a larger volume of gray matter in the amygdala is linked to better emotional regulation and thus a more positive emotional response, as well as to better health outcomes. Now, what I'm talking about here is the question came to my mind: do our emotions affect our health? Do they affect our health? And it's telling us yes. And so, and I like to use that saying, check yourself. We need to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, okay? And get our checkups. I don't think it's well, I know there are some people who like to go to the doctor. I'm not one that likes to go to the doctor to get checkups and all of that, or the dentist I just came from this morning. But I need to go because I need to go to take preventive measures. And if anything is going on, then that can be taken care of. So we need to keep check on ourselves and so we won't wreck ourselves, okay? So similarly, a large volume of gray matter in the amygdala is linked to better emotional regulation and thus a more positive emotional response, as well as to better health outcomes. So, yes, our emotions do affect our health. They do affect our health. And so, those are things, these we need to work on. Interestingly, these differences in amygdala gray matter volume and activation were also linked to the release of cortisol over the course of the day. It's a circadian rhythm, okay, as well as in response to stressors. And with the stress responses of the individual, such as rising blood pressure and atherosclerotic changes. Atherosclerotic changes. And understanding the link. Understanding the link. Let me just make sure that everything is going well here. My picture is good and all of that. Okay. Now, how we're going to understand the link between all of this. Several psychologists have tried to explain the relationship between emotions and health. For instance, a transactional analysis model would consider health to be, in part, the result of the individual's response to stressors. So, this response is influenced by the individual's choice and evaluation of both the stressors and coping responses, which depends on the individual's ability to regulate emotions. Another model would suggest that the ability to regulate emotion affects the adoption of healthy or unhealthy behaviors that influence physical health. Yet another school of thought sees both the emotions and the physical health of an individual as the effects of genetic or other factors that influence both. So the transactional model of stress illness fits with the findings of the brain imaging study quoted above, with the amygdala being a major component of the neural circuit that links the regulation of emotions with the physiological expression of different health parameters. So those who best regulate their emotions can evaluate stressful situations more positively and cope with them more proactively. And see, in the beginning, I talked about that of knowing ourselves and learning ourselves and learn what triggers this and why we feel this way and when does it start, what starts it, and all of that. So this is what this is saying. Those who best regulate their emotions can evaluate stressful situations more positively and cope with them more proactively. Proactively. So this helps them avoid the changes in the amygdala that are induced by chronic stress, which would otherwise cause the nerve cells to deteriorate. So, hey, we need to keep ourselves keep a watch on ourselves, okay? The healthy amygdala then dampens the stress induced activity of the HPA axis, protecting the cardiovascular, nervous, endocrine, and immune systems from damage and maintaining physical health. Yes, our emotions play a great role in our physical health and our physical well being. Emotional regulation, the ability to control one's emotions and promote a positive mindset would thus be helpful. Seen in this light, to adapt well to one's environment, enhancing physical well being as well as emotional health. So, when positive emotions are predominant, it's not just about bouncing with happiness. Instead, such individuals tend to cope better with adverse situations, regaining their ability to get on with life and do what is expected of them more easily. This is called resilience and is invaluable if one wants to live with meaning and purpose despite adverse situations. That resilience. Oh, I talked about that once before, or maybe more than once. So, in fact, emotional responses can be learned like any other healthy habit. Methods to learn how to regulate your emotional balance include quiet times, cognitive therapy, and retreats when people think about the things that are important to them and how they can prioritize them in their lives. Sometimes we have to step away from everything that we possibly can and to gather ourselves and to look at ourselves and study ourselves. Everybody should do that more than once a year. For example, when people think about the kind and compassionate acts and how to foster them in their own lives, the results in terms of their own behavior were positive and were reflected in their brain reward circuits, okay? Associated changes include positive feelings and greater social connections, as well as enhanced nervous regulation of the heart rate. Again, self affirmation, in the sense of thinking about the things one values most, can help produce a positive attitude towards healthy behavioral changes that could foster good health. It can be beat, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Learning to feel gratitude enhances feelings of joy, and learning forgiveness skills reduce feelings of hurt and bitterness. And we all must forgive. And you've heard it over and over. And when you forgive, that releases you and that gives you release. That takes all that stress off of you. Forgiveness is to help you, okay? It's to help you. And when you forgive, that, oh my goodness, it takes so much load, so much heaviness off, okay? So, either by helping individuals change their perception of events and experiences or by altering their behavioral response to such events, it is possible to teach emotional regulation. And I said that, didn't I say it? I certainly said that. So, using objective parameters, further studies will help show the efficacy of such measures in improving physical health. My goodness, it will help us. So there are some references here, and this is www.news-medical.net right here. So I thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate you. You know I do, and it's just a pleasure to come before you and to be able to present all these wonderful topics. It just does my heart good because see, I learned also. I'm just not just throwing it out there somebody. I'm not throwing it at all. You understand what I'm saying? But it just makes my heart glad to know that I'm able to share something with someone, and I really appreciate you for being here with me. I love you so much, and I pray and trust that your day will continue to be great. Thank you for being with me. Thank you so much. I see I have some comments. Hello, Merethah, baby sister. Hello, Velma. Thank you so much. I love you. I love y'all both. Thank you. Everybody that's on here with me. I know we have some incognito watchers, and I just thank God for you. Thank you, everybody. I love you, and God willing, I'll see you Thursday. Okay, well, you'll see me Thursday. I love you. Enjoy the remainder of your day. Make it a great one, okay? Oh, God. I'm calling on you. Oh God, I'm enlisting the saints to pray